the voice that would not yield. The grand concourse of Galder Prime was never silent. 22 species sat in a ring of bioluminescent thrones, humming, pulsing, or twitching in their own forms of impatience. The Galactic Council chamber reeked of damp oxygen, methane, and burned ozone, a side effect of atmospheric calibrators trying to please every biology at once. But on this day, even the smells took a back seat to the human. Ambassador Elena Rourke stood alone in the center. No dais, no platform, just polished obsidian beneath her boots and 1,000 metric tons of judgment pressing down from above. "The Council cannot dictate our future," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity amplifiers. "Earth will not halt its expansion, nor will it disarm its colonies for your comfort." A ripple of reactions, some ultrasonic, others through phenomenal bursts, passed around the chamber. Rourke could feel their disdain. The Zarnak twisted their frilled necks in dismissal. The Volari blinked their translucent eyelids in synchronized protest. Even the usually neutral Jurian turned a shade darker, their skin responding to rising tension. Counselor Vatel of the Zarathi, all talons and slithering grace, spoke first. "Humanity ignores the directives. You terraform Class 2 worlds without license. You export neural entertainment to pre-uplift species. You arm fringe colonies with gravity lances. You are loud, reckless, and multiplying." Rourke raised her chin. "We are growing. We are surviving. And if the Council is threatened by that, it says more about your stagnation than our progress." A low, rumbling growl echoed from the Crictan seat. "Your arrogance could destabilize half the quadrant. The balance must be preserved." "You mean your monopoly," Rourke said sharply. "Enough." The High Arbiter, a being of pure light suspended in a containment field, pulsed. "The Council has reached a decision. Sanctions will be enacted. Effective immediately, Earth is to halt all colonial expansion. FDL lanes to Sol will be restricted. Communications are to be monitored. Defiance will result in blockade." The sentence dropped like lead. Rourke didn't flinch. She had expected this. "I will take your threats back to Earth," she said. "But know this, we did not come to the stars to be servants in another empire." She turned without waiting for dismissal. Behind her, Vatel hissed, "Speak your defiance now, little world. It will be the last thing the stars hear from you." Rourke paused at the threshold of the chamber. Then she said, quiet but clear, "If Earth falls silent, it won't be because we bowed. It will be because we chose to stop speaking." 3 months later, Sol System, Earth orbit. The black ships held position beyond Luna's shadow. They bore no flags, no IFF tags, no visible weapons. Only smooth obsidian hulls that swallowed radar. Silent watchers, predators in the dark. On Earth, chaos simmered beneath a forced calm. Riots in the megacities, power rations, defense drills in every school. The governments, fractured as they were, had one thing in common. They had stopped trusting the Council. In a control room buried under the Andes, General Marcus Keene studied the real-time feeds from orbital scanners. The Council ships hadn't moved in 12 days, but more were coming. You could feel it in the comms chatter, in the irregular FTL wakes near the Oort cloud, in the quiet urgency of civilian evacuations. "They're going to tighten the ring," his aide said. "No launches, no transmissions, no exports. They want to choke us without firing a shot." "They won't have the chance," Keene replied. "Initiate Valkyrie protocol." The aide froze. "That's full spectrum blackout. Once we go dark." Keene nodded. "We won't be speaking again. Not until they understand silence." The last broadcast from Earth. Timestamp: midnight UTC relay node, Luna Prime. "To the Council of Galactic Species. You call us disruptive, dangerous, loud. You forget we were born screaming. You fear what we might become. You should. Earth will not answer your threats. We will not plead, and we will not break. From this moment, our voice leaves the stars. We will return only when you understand what silence costs." In transmission. Above Earth, every satellite blinked out. No pings, no signals, no warnings, just silence. And the Council, for all its reach and power, could do nothing but listen. The silence that followed. The first to notice were the traders. Merchant vessels running standard relay hops along the sole trade spine reported unusual quiet from the human end. Automated beacons, usually humming with updates on shipping lanes, customs data, and Earth's never-ending news feed, had gone dark. Not delayed, not scrambled, just gone. 2 days later, the science probes went offline. Then the comms buoys. By the end of the week, the silence stretched from the asteroid colonies to Earth's moon like a void stitched across reality. The Council brushed it off at first. Technical glitch, internal instability, human stubbornness. But when long-range passive scans returned zero electromagnetic output from the third planet, not even civilian background radiation, concern turned to alarm. Galactic Council Emergency Session, Galder Prime. All signals ceased simultaneously, barked Counselor Vietel, slamming his data spike into the communal core. His tendrils quivered with restrained fury. This is not accident. This is provocation. Their entire network going down, rasped the Atari delegate. Even their outer colonies are silent. That's no act of aggression. That's extinction. Counselor Neve Ka of the crystalline Dolen pulsed with green uncertainty. Could it be civil war? They'd still scream, Vietel snapped. Humans always scream. The chamber descended into hissing debate until the High Arbiter's light dimmed to a piercing blue. Silence protocol. I have authorized a reconnaissance fleet, it intoned. They will confirm Earth's status. Until then, we will not escalate. If humanity has eliminated itself, let us not wake what remains. 2 weeks later, edge of the Sol system. The recon fleet, 5 vessels from 5 species, exited slipspace with weapons cold and sensors wide open. They advanced past Pluto with caution, using stealth drones and layered scans. What they found was nothing. No resistance. No human patrols. No AI pingbacks. Just a lingering sense of absence. By the time they reached lunar orbit, they saw Earth, whole, untouched, and wrapped in something unnatural. The planet shimmered faintly within a spherical shell. It wasn't visible to the eye, but instrumentation showed the edges, an energy field stretching from low orbit to geostationary altitude. It wasn't a shield. It didn't block matter, but it swallowed signals, every frequency from gamma to radio. A silence engine, artificial, deliberate. Commander Urek of the Ralathai vessel Skyward Spear recorded his final log before ordering a drone landing attempt. The field is no natural anomaly. Earth is alive, but it has sealed itself from the galaxy, as if the stars no longer merit its gaze. We will attempt limited surface contact. That transmission never finished. The fleet's AI systems crashed within moments of deploying their probes. Navigation destabilized. Auxiliary power failed. Emergency beacon bursts never left orbit. Only one vessel limped back through FTL. Damaged, data wiped, and crewless. It arrived at Galder Prime adrift with no propulsion. Inside, scorched onto the command deck in Laserchar human script, was a single phrase. Do not knock twice. Council reaction 1 month later. Panic swept the galactic elite. The Council had sanctioned Earth into silence, and Earth had answered with silence absolute. No one knew what was happening inside that shimmering cocoon, and worse, no one could predict what might come out. Counselor Nevka called for peace envoys. The Kriktan urged immediate planetary bombardment, but the High Arbiter offered no command. Only data. Strategic analysis. Earth's blackout sphere contains energy readings consistent with deep-scale infrastructure mobilization. Thermal diffusion patterns suggest planetary scale coordination. Probability of internal extinction event, 0.02%. Probability of strategic deception, 94.7%. The silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy. Meanwhile, outer colony of New Jakarta. Chal, junior officer of the Council's Planetary Observation Corps, watched the skies over New Jakarta, once a bustling human trade hub. No cargo left port. No messages arrived. The humans had abandoned it. And yet, As he walked the perimeter, he saw them. Locals, human children, watching him from rooftops. No fear, no welcome, just observation. Silent, still unsettling. "Where are your leaders?" he asked one girl. She said nothing, only pointed upward. That night, Shaw recorded an encrypted message against protocol. The silence is spreading. It's not absence. It's presence, disciplined, waiting. We thought we silenced them, but I think we just stopped hearing them. The fire that broke the sky. It began with the destruction of Relay Station 7 Beta. Located near the neutral system of Garish Fold, the station monitored FTL traffic across 3 major trade corridors. It had been in continuous operation for 312 standard cycles. When it exploded, not from impact but from within, the Council assumed equipment failure. Until 6 more exploded in the next 4 hours. Then came the blackouts. System by system, communications lapsed. Military outposts found their archives corrupted. Planetary networks shut down for maintenance, only to discover entire sectors had been overwritten with cascading AI loops. In one case, a fleet's targeting data was replaced with Earth's last broadcast, on loop. "We will return only when you understand what silence costs." No one noticed the human ships at first. They did not arrive with fanfare or mass. There were no capital cruisers or dreadnoughts. They arrived as fragments. Stealth drones slipped past beacons, hiding in dust rings and asteroid belts. They jammed frequencies, severed emergency relays, and mapped every Council fleet position with surgical efficiency. Then came the strikes. Battle of the Orion Split. The Council Armada held the high orbit around Mars, renamed Free Terra by its human colonists. They had held it for 3 weeks, enforcing a blockade. No one in, no one out. Then the colony's ships arrived. Unarmed. Civilian hulls. Ancient models, clearly overloaded. The Council fleet commander gave the order to disable them gently, ion bursts only. He never got the chance. Each ship detonated before reaching Mars orbit. They weren't carrying civilians. They were carrying void mines, gravitational devices tuned to destabilize localized slip space. The resulting ripples shattered 3 destroyers, crippled 2 command ships, and sent the fleet into a fractured retreat. And in the chaos, the human surface batteries on Mars, silent until now, opened fire. Kinetic rods, EMP storms, even repurposed terraforming tools turned into mass drivers. The red planet bled blue fire. Council emergency, Galder Prime. 6 systems attacked in 12 hours, growled Vietel. This is not resistance. This is war. They are not fighting like they used to, hissed a Hreskery war analyst. There is no central command, no declarations, only patterns. They went silent to build this, muttered Neve-Ka. While we watch for movement, they learned to disappear. In the center of the chamber, a projection bloomed, intercepted during a failed breach of the Eridani sector. A single human face appeared, scarred, gray-eyed, tired. Admiral Marcus Keene. You thought silence was retreat. It wasn't. It was preparation. You forced our hand, so we broke the table. Now we don't play your game. This is not an invasion. This is a correction. The feed cut out. Half the chamber demanded retaliation. The other half sat in stunned silence. Council warships, outer edge of Tau Corin. Shaw, now reassigned to a border patrol cruiser, stood on the observation deck. His claws trembled around the railing. He had served long enough to know fear, but what he felt now was awe. The humans had not come to conquer. They came to erase assumptions. Human colonies didn't fight to hold ground. They struck once, disappeared, and left messages behind. Carved into rock, etched into metal, painted across the stars. Do not provoke silence. His captain believed the humans were trying to intimidate them into surrender. Shaw had a darker thought. They weren't trying to be heard anymore. They were simply reminding the galaxy they still existed, and could vanish just as easily. The silence that spoke loudest. The Council's War Summit convened in orbit above Althea, a neutral moon wrapped in magnetic storms, the closest thing to secure ground they had left. Every species brought its war leaders now. Diplomats were sidelined, their pleas buried beneath casualty reports. Holograms flared with planetary loss indexes, fleet damage tallies, and a growing list of systems that had simply gone dark. Not conquered, not destroyed, just dark. Entire colonies are vanishing, growled Commander Zelm of the Crichtan. Not a single distress call. No wreckage. No corpses. Just silence. They're taking nothing, added the Jurian tactician. No plunder. No prisoners. They strike, then disappear. They want us confused. Counselor Vatel stood, eyes gleaming with rage. No, they want us humbled. His clawed hand stabbed a display, showing the Sol system, still wrapped in its enigmatic silence field. Everything we've done since Earth went quiet, every counterattack, every sanction, they planned for it. Their silence was not a protest. It was a chrysalis. The chamber quieted. No one wanted to admit it, but the data was clear. Humanity had not just survived the Council's punishment. They had adapted to it, and in doing so, rewritten the rules of galactic engagement. And they were still not speaking. 3 days later, Galder Prime. The first signs of change came from the edges of the inner capital zone. Static across planetary broadcasts. Surveillance satellites misaligned, as if nudged by invisible hands. Then, at precisely the 7th hour of the planetary rotation, every screen across Galder Prime, from diplomatic spires to market stalls, flickered. A single message appeared. We offered words. You answer with control. We offered silence. You learn nothing. Now you will listen. The message ended, but it left no doubt. Humanity was done negotiating. Above Earth, 1 year later, General Elena Rourke stood aboard the Eclipse Array, a human-built station cloaked in the thermosphere, hidden even from Earth's own population. Around her, silent operators monitored long-range signals, defense trajectories, and the galaxy's chaos unfolding in real time. The Earth below had changed. In silence, humanity had turned inward. Cities were reborn underground and beneath oceans. Energy networks grew decentralized, resilient. Fleets were no longer visible. They were ghosts, coded into the stars. Rourke watched as a display shimmered into life. Council ships massing near the rimward sectors. They're trying to cut supply chains again, said her aide. They're hoping to draw us into a conventional war. Rourke smiled faintly. We're not at war, she said. We're teaching them what it means to not be the center anymore. Her eyes drifted to the stars. We gave them noise. They ignored us. We gave them silence. They feared us. Now we give them uncertainty. Let that be our voice. Galactic Council, final closed session. The chamber was half empty now. Many member species had withdrawn, unwilling to fund a war they couldn't win, or even see clearly. Trade had collapsed in sectors dependent on Earth's neural markets. Fringe systems were openly allying with rogue human colonies, preferring silent partners over invasive rule. The Council had never imagined a threat like this. Not planetary, not imperial, but cultural. Humanity had changed the rhythm of the stars. Not with fleets, not with weapons, but by withdrawing the one thing the Council had always relied on, participation. Without Earth's voice, the Council couldn't claim unity. Without their chaos, the galaxy lost momentum. Without their culture, the void echoed. The new broadcast. It came 2 years to the day after Earth first fell silent. One transmission. No visuals. No demand. Only words. We are not your children. We are not your threat. We are your mirror. You punished our voice. So we taught you the power of its absence. Let this be the last silence. Speak with respect, or do not speak at all. Epilogue, the stars reframed. Years passed. The Council changed, or fractured. The details depended on where one stood. Some member species drifted toward Earth's philosophy, decentralized, unmonitored, quietly defiant. Others clung to old structures, warning of a next silence. But the galaxy remembered. No war cry, no invasion, just a world that stopped speaking, and in doing so, made itself heard. No council will ever forget the moment Earth fell silent, because the silence, in the end, spoke louder than anything ever said.